Welcome, everyone. Thanks for coming. I just want to let you know that this is a relaxed space. So if you need to move, stretch, or take a quick break, don't hesitate to do so. So I am Grace King. I am wearing a black shirt with little silver diamantes. I am wearing a tiger's eye necklace with a lotus flower. I have a unakite moon with a dragon on top of it, a necklace with sun and stars, and my coin, my Viking compass necklace on. I've got a heap of bracelets, a bunch of rings, and a really sparkly headband. My pants are black. I am wearing some Skechers that may not quite go with what I'm wearing, but I did my ankle, so I'm like wearing the most supportive thing I can, so that I can actually, walk, sort of. Yeah, so I'd like to, before I begin, acknowledge the Whadjuk people of the Noongar Nation and pay my respects to their elders, past, present, and emerging. So, I'll tell you about myself and my relationship to Perth Festival. So I love theatre. I love performance, and I love both being an audience member and being on stage. I have done quite a bit of performance. My main medium is singing and music, but I've done some acting as well and voiceover, lots and lots of different things. And I've done quite a bit of performing and audience participation with Perth Festival. I won this crazy dancing contest for a show called Daddy? No, it wasn't Daddy. It was the quiz night, the dance quiz night at the E-Shed Markets, I think, in Fremantle. There is a video somewhere. It's horrible. And the poor woman that had to get up on stage and be my sidewalker and follow me and do that with me and just look really bemused as I made love to a floor or something. Yeah, that was really interesting. Last year, I got to participate in Perth Moves with strut dance, and it was really great because the festival supported me to bring a support worker who knew me really well and could help me troubleshoot being part of this massive 50-person silent choir. I ran across a very precarious stage on the behind this support worker and did all sorts of other crazy things, and it went really well. Apparently, it was lots of fun. I got to be a news reader in Whistleblower, which was great. They sent me the script ahead of time so that I could actually have a look and read it, which is an accommodation that I need as a Braille reader, so I could load it up and have that information there and read fairly smoothly. So that was really, really good fun. I also went last year and was part of the water aerobics class at the pool down at Beatty Park as part of one of the performances. That was pretty cold, but it was good fun. I'm also part of our Perth Access Committee. I think I've probably been part of it since its inception, like 2018, 2017. I don't know. I'm bad with time. But I have been advocating for audio description, tactile tour for people who are blind, and also just really advocating for access overall and more disabled artists in the festival, because it's not just about audience, it is about being able to perform as a disabled artist as well. So that is me, really. I would now like to introduce a couple of the speakers today. We're first going to hear from Anna Reece, and she is our artistic director, and she's going to talk about the program highlights for us, which will be really good. We're going to hear then from Fiona Smith, and she is the Events, Operations and Logistics Manager. And she is going to talk to us about our access services, audio description, tactile tours, Auslan open-close captioning, and physical access, as well as anything else that I may have forgotten. So thank you guys so much for coming, and enjoy the presentations. Thank you.
And Grace is made off the stage.
Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for coming tonight. Grace, thank you for that introduction and for sharing so much about yourself and your incredible history with Perth Festival and the arts industry across Perth, actually. I would also like to acknowledge that we're all here today in Boorloo on Whadjuk Noongar Budja, and to pay my deep, sincere respects to our elders, past and present, and to encourage us always to consider how we can walk more generously and more lightly on this country that we're so lucky to share with our First Nations community. So I am Anna Reece. I am the Artistic Director of Perth Festival. Sometimes when I say I'm Anna Reece, people say to me, that's a really interesting name, Anna Reece. And I'm like, it's Anna Reece. But I don't know why people always think that for some reason it's a hyphenated name. Anyway, I'm about 6 foot and I have blonde brown hair that is tied back in a messy bun. I'm wearing a black sleeveless dress just above my knees, and I'm wearing white sneakers. Okay. So I am going to share, as Grace said, just a few highlights for the festival that the team, my amazing colleagues at Perth Festival, and I thought would be great to share with you all tonight. It's definitely not the whole program. The whole program is quite large, but our team are very happy to talk festival with you afterwards. We love talking about all the different works. And of course, there are different marketing materials and different guides available to you, and Fiona will share all of those different platforms for you after I speak. So, on to the interesting things. This is a festival of truth tellers and mischief makers, and of sand dunes and salty air. And for me, that's a provocation that stays with us for the 4 years of the festival that I'm responsible for as the curator. So truth tellers and mischief makers for me, and hopefully for all of us, resonates as that's what artists are. That's what our artists in this world do best. They tell their truths and they make mischief, all kinds of cheeky mischief, all kinds of serious mischief. And Sand Dunes and Salty Air is about what it means to be Perth Festival here on Whadjuk Noongar country. Sand Dunes and Salty Air, viscerally connecting it here to this place. I'm sure we've all been in our big open blue skies and been blasted by the salty air or hit by the sand. It's beautiful and also a bit abrasive sometimes. So I'm really proud to share some of this festival with you. We're opening doors and welcoming you all into as many places and spaces as we can across the city in February. It's a festival that celebrates our different neighbourhoods, and it's a festival of surprise and delight. It's a festival for our city to celebrate our wild and beautiful Western Australia and our place in the world. So, beginning with Karla Bidi. Karla Bidi means fire trail in Noongar language, and some of you may have seen or experienced or heard that work last year. Karla Bidi means fire trail in Noongar, and it is inspired by the idea, the tradition of when First Nations people light a fire to say, can I come into your country? And how you would light one back to say, yes, you are welcome. And when you approach Karla Bidi, it is a very tall physical sculpture that is meant to look quite like the sticks that make up a campfire. Huge lights stretch for hundreds of metres into the clouds, actually, up into the night sky. And the whole sculpture itself is illuminated with beautiful light. There is also a sound installation or a soundscape that you can listen to, which is made up of songs and stories created by a really wonderful group of First Nations artists who I am very excited are kind of the new contemporary next generation of First Nations artists here in Western Australia. So these sculptures, each of these Karla Bidi beacons, are placed in 11 different locations along the Derwil-Yerrigan, along the Swan River, up in the hills in Guildford, all the way down to Walyalup in Fremantle. So it's a very quiet, glowing thread that signals the arrival of the festival and that everyone is welcome. Karla Bidi comes back every year, and the locations of the beacons will change, and so will that soundscape I mentioned. So there's always going to be different locations that you can go and find a beacon at, or and you can hear a beautiful new soundtrack. So there's always a new element for Karla Bidi every year. But for me, I do consider this as a really powerful celebration of culture and country, which invites us in to reflect on how lucky we are, really, in a very gentle way. Okay, LACRIMA. LACRIMA is a big piece of French international theatre, and it is about a fashion house in Paris in 2025 that receives the most incredible commission. And that commission is to create the next wedding dress for the next Princess of England. So it's a fictional story, but it absolutely draws on global truths and realities about the real cost of high fashion, of global slavery, of the inequities in that world. It follows the story of all of the individuals who are involved in the make of the dress. It takes you on a journey to Mumbai, to a studio where there is a old man who's one of the best embroiderers of precious stones in the world. It takes you to the French Alps, to Alençon, where you meet a wonderful group of women across generations who all share this secret trade, really, of the finest, most delicate lace embroidery. It follows the story of Marion, who is the woman who runs the fashion house in the middle of Paris and all the drama that comes with it. There's a very eccentric fashion designer who calls in on Zoom. But it's a very gripping cinematic show. The artistic director of this production, Caroline Nugent, she's a French-Vietnamese director. She works a lot in theatre, but she also works a lot in film. So the image behind me is a picture of the set design of the stage. And her attention to detail really does demonstrate just how cinematic her thinking is. Really delicately placed wedding dresses, tables where you cut fabric, scissors, threads, a real kind of hive of activity, but it's immaculate. It's deeply, deeply thrilling. It's like watching 6 episodes of a BBC thriller back to back. It's almost sold out, this one, but it's a 5-star sellout seasons across the rest of the world. And we're really thrilled to be bringing this sensational piece of theatre to Western Australia. I also think it's really important for us to ensure that we are bringing big stories like this in foreign languages, because it's so important for all of us to hear the beauty of a story in its original language, the nuances, the flow, the intricacies. So it is in French and English, and it is surtitled. Haribo Kimchi. Okay. Haribo Kimchi is created by a wonderful South Korean artist. His name is Jaha Koo. And you will experience this work in the studio underground downstairs at the State Theatre Centre. This work is a one-man show where Jaha stands on stage at a traditional South Korean street food stall. And he's standing there in his stall, and he cooks live on stage for members of the audience who he invites to come and sit at his snack food stall with him. He might cook kimchi pancakes. He might cook really interesting Korean jelly desserts. He might crack a few Korean beers. But as he's cooking and as you experience this kind of wafting of those smells of Korean food, he shares with you some of his stories. And his stories are really about what it means as a young man who lives in South Korea to really struggle with anxiety, to struggle with isolation, the challenges he faces when eventually he makes a decision to leave his home of South Korea and move to Belgium, and then ultimately to Berlin. So he tells this very beautiful, very interesting, very moving story about his own life. And on either side of the stage, on either side of his snack food stall, are these huge LED screens that show all of this wonderful cinematography. It takes you on this very, very visual journey of what the streets of Seoul look like or where he lives in Belgium. But because it is a piece of Korean theatre made by a young, very interesting theatre maker, one of the things that Jaha explores is our relationship to food and those really gentle comforts that we all have when we eat something from home or we take a snack with us. So in this instance, the reassurance and the comfort Jaha feels with the 10 kilos of vac-packed kimchi his grandmother insists on sending to Belgium with him, or when he's feeling really overwhelmed on a train going from home to work in Berlin, dipping his hands into his pockets and feeling those Haribo gummy bears, putting one in his mouth and slowly chewing and feeling calmer and feeling less alone. And then occasionally there might be a wild deep synthesizer video clip that appears on one of the screens where the gummy bear might come to life and deliver kind of a Eurovision-esque musical number for you. Okay, Lenore, the rain. Just occasionally there is work created that I really think truly deserves to be brought back to life. Some of you might have been lucky enough to see the original production of Lenore quite a few years ago when it was presented as part of Perth Festival at the Perth Institute of Contemporary Art. This is The Last Great Hunt's Lenore. It's definitely one of those productions. It's a deeply romantic visual extravaganza that will reignite your love of humanity. It's a faux foreign film performed live each night. So these beautiful, wonderfully talented, genius Perth theatre makers combine cinematic mastery and theatrical magic to tell these interwoven stories of love in a world that's falling apart. It's set in the future, somewhere in the northern seas, on a fictional island called Sulset. And once a thriving metropolis, decades-long drought has plagued the community and only a hopeful few remain living on the island. So the climate crisis is well and truly here. Lenore the Rain invites the audience to witness both the on-screen story that they create in front of you and the behind-the-scenes action in a very nostalgic celebration of everything worth fighting for. Not only that, they deliver the entire production in a language that they have made up and learnt themselves. And if I could explain what that language sounded like, if Eurovision had a language, this is what the language would sound like. It's a great production. It's very moving. It's very hilarious. Because there hasn't been rain for a very long time, the characters in the performance wear heavy-set makeup and false wigs because they don't have any water to maintain their standards. But it's great, and I'm very excited that we're moving it from a small theatre, where we all saw it at Pika, to the Heath Ledger Theatre in the last week of the festival. Scenes from the Climate Era is being presented by the West Australian Youth Theatre Company. I was really, really impressed with Amelia, who's the incredible artistic director of that company. She came into my office months and months ago now, and she slapped this script down on my desk and she said, if there's one company that should be doing this play, it's us. It's the young people, it's the next generation. Scenes from a Climate Era is about extreme weather, it's about greenwash promises, radical solutions. It consists of 66 individual scenes that don't intersect with each other, comic, tragic, and everything in between. You're taken into conversations that are jam-packed with information, with humanity, with truth. It's not wagging its finger at you, but it's a play about now performed by leaders of the future. And that will take place down at Victoria Hall in Fremantle. Dragon Eye. Okay. So the image on the screen behind me is of Adam. Adam is neurodiverse, and Adam loves dragons, and he has been writing and talking and performing about dragons for years and years. He has also noticed now that everyone seems to be talking about and using AI, and he's wondering whether or not he should. This production is Adam exploring that just like dragons, AI can make you feel safe, it can make you feel courageous, brave, it can be your companion, but also it is mysterious and to some a little bit terrifying. So Adam will, on stage at the Subiaco Arts Centre, explore artificial intelligence, but also dragon intelligence, with his creative collaborator James Berlin and their new company, the Neuro Bureau. It's a new West Australian commission, and we were really thrilled that it came to us through a big artist call out that we ran in 2023. POV, or point of view, is a really remarkable production I saw at Rising Festival or Melbourne Festival earlier this year. This is about two unrehearsed actors and one camera-wielding kid. It stars Bub. Bub is 11 years old, and you can see her here on stage, standing in front of a camera and directing an actor with a screen behind them. Bub is 11 years old, and she is obsessed with documentary filmmaking. Every night, when this production is on in Perth during the festival, two actors will walk on stage for the very first time. They won't have met each other, they won't have met Bub, but they are given a script, and they, for the duration of the production, perform these scenes with Bub. One of the actors plays mum, one of the actors plays dad, and together they immediately form this family in front of you, where they reenact Bub's personal experiences, negotiating very difficult, challenging questions about parenting, about the agency of young people, about mental health, and how we speak to children. Let me in, let me out.
Yeah. That's Hugo.
Let me in, let me out. For those of you who don't know, is the new creation of our extraordinary West Australian artist, Hugo Favell. We're excited to have you in the audience tonight, Hugo. This work is, so the image that you see here is Hugo pictured in his wonder chair. So during the festival, Hugo will appear in different places across Perth in his wonder chair that will be fitted out with projectors, lights, sound systems, gadgets, where Hugo will make his way through the city and very cheekily, but very genuinely, literally project a provocation on the walls of buildings and institutions that are currently not offering equity in relation to access. So here you see the projection, "Let me in," and that's because that building has Hugo in front of it and there's not a lift, so Hugo can't access it. So watch out for Hugo. Is that a fair description, Hugo? Good? Watch out for Hugo in the final week of Perth Festival, where we will be releasing more detail about where and when to catch him in this really, really important work for Perth and the rest of the world, really. Okay, so the image behind me is a picture of St Mary's Cathedral, which is a beautiful cathedral that is tucked away in the centre of Perth. And this year in 2026, we're introducing a series called the Sanctum Series, which is a series of concerts of rare and radiant sounds. So I loved the idea of finding different performances that consist of beautiful choral ensembles, choirs, and small intimate chamber music that really match that exquisite, peaceful, ethereal environment. And at the festival, we're very committed to trying to take over and embrace and explore different spaces and places in our city, and St Mary's this year is one of them. So I don't think it's just a concert series. I hope that people find that it's a moment to breathe and to gather and to be transformed, and where every note will linger with you longer. The Embassy is another part of our festival which returns in 2026. This is sophistication meeting sass at Perth Festival's CBD heartbeat. We're ready to swing open the doors of the beautiful old Perth Town Hall to welcome you back. This venue is elegant, it's a little wild, and it's unpredictable. Hopefully, the Embassy is our place for good times and great company. The idea of the Embassy is inspired by Perth's historic Embassy Ballroom. It's a space with history in its bones and elegance in its architecture, and a playful spirit at its heart. So across 3 weeks, the Embassy comes into its own, overflowing with wonderful jazz, blues, soul, cabaret, contemporary crooners, and a little bit of indulgence. Starting with Ali Bodycoat and the Embassy Big Band. Ali is one of Western Australia's most brilliant jazz singers, and she again is putting together a fantastic big band made up of, again, some of Perth's most fantastic jazz players, where people are invited to come in, to listen, to boogie on the dance floor if you feel so inclined. But it's 4 huge nights of Ali Bodycoat and the big bands where jazz and swing and romance reign. We've also got a little bit of fun, a little bit of razzle-dazzle, and a little bit of cabaret. One of my favourites in the program is this production, What's Tina Got to Do With It? So join the fabulous Miss Tina, aka the alter ego of Ben Gratz or Miscellaneous, as your glittering host and MC for a powerhouse evening celebrating the one and only Tina Turner. See or experience a lineup of powerhouse guest artists, each going beyond Nutbush city limits to bring their own fire and flair to iconic hits and forgotten gems. It'll feature a huge lineup of wonderful Black and First Nations artists from across the country, all banging out their own interpretation of their favourite Tina Turner song. And then on to Raw Cacao, created by cabaret sensation, international cabaret sensation, Le Gâteau Chocolat. Le Gâteau Chocolat is a mixtape to reveal the man behind the opera occasional black-bearded drag diva Le Gâteau Chocolat. Lurching from pop to opera via folk song, musical theatre, disco and more, this is Le Gâteau Chocolat at his most delicious. So this is a production where you would sit at the Embassy and George, aka Le Gâteau Chocolat, steps back behind the curtains as if he has finished his performance, and he shares with you what it's like to live a life as an artist performing around the world. He'll share it through incredible musical numbers. He has the most exquisite baritone voice. As some of you can see from the picture behind me, he also has wonderful fashion, but he's very entertaining, very moving, incredibly powerful, highly recommend. And then another work I just wanted to share from the Embassy is a new production created by Western Australian artist Danielle Karuna with her counterpart Dingo Spender. Together they are Mamakin Spender, and they'll take you on a transformative story strung through a cycle of songs drawn from their recent ARIA-nominated album, Promises. It's backed by a gospel choir, and they conjure up these stories of the realities and the absolute brutalities of the breakdown of a relationship, the loss of love, all the way back to when you, if you're lucky enough, to find that love again together and to build it back up. So that's the Embassy, just a few highlights. Then we're very happy that the East Perth Power Station, which was another part of the festival we introduced last year, is coming back. I really loved that Perth showed up for the East Perth Power Station, that people really felt like it was theirs. This beautiful space down by the paper truck down under the paperbark trees, dwarfed by the power station, by the river, with a wonderful free music program of Casa Musica. I love seeing people bring their picnics, bring their dogs, bring their prams, bring their neighbours, bring their families. It very much, for me, felt core to our commitment, which is Perth Festival should be welcome to everyone. So Casa Musica and the beautiful projections of Boorloo Contemporary will return from Thursdays to Sundays for the duration of February. And then after dark, a hidden corner of the power station transforms into our main stage of contemporary music and total euphoria. So this venue is inspired by really iconic kind of gritty industrial venues from around the world. It's a space that retains its industrial grit with steel beams and cavernous dance floors, but it's still under the stars in these wonderful balmy nights in Perth. The main stage is a haven for those chasing the intersection of sound and light and history and music, and we're really excited that this summer will offer another lineup of really major electronic DJ sets, live bands, and I'll just share a couple of them with you. So we're really excited that Max Cooper is opening the East Perth Power Station on our first Friday. Max Cooper is a wonderful UK electronic musician. He's also really renowned for his audio-visual laser light displays where he creates this wonderful 3D immersive world. But in particular, one of his superpowers is mapping incredible projections and patterns onto site-specific venues around the world. So I think he's perfect for the power station and will really show that venue off. Rebel Rebel. So for those of you who don't know, David Bowie passed away 10 years ago in January. I hope you all know who David Bowie is. I think some of our younger staff at Perth Festival might not know who David Bowie is. I love David Bowie. So David Bowie passed away 10 years ago. We are partnering with the Perth Symphony Orchestra to do a big, fun, chaotic celebration of all that David Bowie brought to the world with some of our favourite songs. So the Perth Symphony Orchestra will take the stage, and we've invited some of Western Australia's most brilliant vocalists with that list of artists we will share in January, but to do their own interpretations of, again, some of David Bowie's music, also with some really interesting video clips and David Bowie art projected onto those huge walls of the power station. And then we have a wonderful night of First Nations artists from Australia and around the world. Baker Boy is headlining that. He's supported by this incredible duo called Snotty Nose Res Kids, who are a hip-hop group from Turtle Island in Canada. And then we also have Lovely Day from Western Australia, who'll also be part of that lineup. Huge, amazing celebration of Black culture here in WA. Boorloo Contemporary, I mentioned a little bit earlier, is our big commissioning program supporting First Nations artists from across Western Australia to create new work. One of the most public and most powerful elements of Boorloo Contemporary is the East Perth Power Station Commission. And we're really excited this year to have commissioned Lance Chad, who's a very, very senior Noongar artist, to create just these extraordinary landscapes of country, of frogs, of cockatoos, of balga trees, all that have really, really strong connection to the country that East Perth Power Station is actually built on top of, and also have deep cultural significance to our Noongar people. And I was very, very lucky to go down to a test the other night at the power station just to see some of Lance's frogs animated, coming to life, huge frogs kind of jumping across the building. It was a really wonderful moment last year when the projections would turn on and you could hear an audible gasp from the crowd. And this year we're working on adding in a very small sound fanfare, I suppose, to announce the arrival of the projections. A clue could possibly be it has something to do with frogs. So just watch this space. Kate James is an artist we're very excited to invite to Perth. She is a First Nations artist from Naarm, from Melbourne. Kate works with really interesting... Really, she pulls apart a lot of Australiana, quite colonial symbols. She plays with images, crests, emblems we might traditionally see on tea towels, on coasters, and she uses her own provocations as an Aboriginal woman, her own political statements to playfully challenge and pull those kind of Australian Western colonial stereotypes apart. One of the things we've been really excited to do is introduce more and more art onto the East Perth Power Station precinct, as well as the projections. So Kate will create huge flags that will be suspended on some of the walls of the power station, and we'll also create a really exciting kind of entrance feature welcoming you and also challenging you as you walk into the power station to consider whose country you're on. Kwopben, popping there. Kwopben means good light in Noongar and is another part of Boorloo Contemporary. We really want to ensure that we bring as much art out into the public realm as possible. We love working with the galleries and the institutions across Perth, but equally love the idea of people in their everyday discovering and experiencing some of the exceptional art that our local artists can create. So for those of you who don't know, the Boorloo Bridge, which is Perth's newest bridge, actually has some very interesting digital light and animation capabilities. So we have commissioned 3 really exceptional, very interesting local artists, who I won't announce today, to create a work that explores the history of Madagarup or Harrison Island, the political history, the fact that that's the only place in Perth where kangaroos still wander around, the relationship of the pelicans to the island. So look out for that work for all of February. And then on to Lottery West Films. So Lottery West Films, just here at our beautiful Somerville Auditorium, is back, and it's packed with brilliant national and international cinema, curated by our ultimate film dynamo, Madeline Bates. While we'll keep to tradition and we will show a wonderful film every week, in February, during the festival, our outdoor cinema will become a film festival hub. So for 2 weeks, almost every night, we will show a different offering. It could be a very hard-hitting documentary. It could be a series of shorts. It might be a couple of really special West Australian film premieres. We're also thrilled, as part of the international cinema program, to be presenting Spanish film Deaf. It's a drama about a deaf ceramicist who is preparing for motherhood. The film is directed by Eva Labatad, and it is a very compassionate look at a woman navigating a hearing world and the challenges of raising a child when her status quo is shaken. This film was also featured in the Madman picks for the festival and was a winner at the 2025 Berlin Film Festival. And we do have a little clip to show you for this one.
Lía. Bonito. Un poco modernillo. Sí.
Y el bebé está bien, pero ya se sabe.
Es que hay un 50% de posibilidades.
Yo voy a estar contigo todo el tiempo.
No te preocupes, vas a estar idiota.
Ya tengo que interpretar, no me puedo ir.
Ángela, mírame. Te vamos a ayudar, ¿vale?
La prueba no es concluyente, ¿vale? No nos dices si la niña oye o no oye.
¿No ves que está llorando? Pero ¿sabes lo que pasa? Que tú quieres una pareja sorda y una hija sorda. Pero me has elegido a mí y yo soy oyente.
Papi, papi, tienes algo que no tiene nadie. Cuando me miras tienes la boca, se me corta el aire. Hermoso era tu pecho, una blanca luna. No lo curas la camisa, solo lo importuna. Querida, me condenas sin guardar reposo. Hondo beso y honda muerte la que hay en tu rostro.
Cine Wonders is another program that we're bringing back. We introduced it last year, really wanting to ensure that young people also get to experience international cinema, especially because quite often they can't stay up as late as the Somerville. But have no fear, the Cine Wonders program is definitely for everybody, no matter how old you are. We will be partnering with Luna Cinemas again to deliver a series of international cinema for young people. We're also really excited to partner with the Como Theatre, which is the only cinema actually, I think, left in Perth that actually shows film on print. And we have, well, Madeline and the team have come up with a list of wonderful films from earlier days, really nostalgic films that we've identified are films that if you're an adult now, you would love to share with young people of today. Definitely films that have dated well. Trust me, there's plenty of films that have not dated well. But we're really excited to share that. I said the other night when we launched the Somerville program here at UWA, my list of my favourite films when I was a kid are actually limited to the 3 VHSs that we only had. There wasn't the option of streaming, which were, and this might give away something about my family, but it was High Society, the musical, featuring Grace Kelly and Bing Crosby and Frank Sinatra, The Never-Ending Story, and Some Like It Hot with Marilyn Monroe. So there you go. None of those, I believe, are actually in the Cine Wonders program, by the way. Okay, moving on to Summit at Lawson Flats. So Lawson Flats, for those of you who don't know, is a members-only club in Perth. It is a lush, very beautiful, very lovely place to hang out, but the role of the festival is always to open doors as much as possible to everyone. So we are partnering with Lawson Flats to deliver a wonderful program which consists of listening sessions, artist talks, poetry nights, DJ sets and creative takeovers. So stay tuned because we will be dropping the detail of that full program next week, I think. Yeah, next week. Perth Moves, created by the wonderful Strut Dance Centre here in Perth, is returning and is also returning to Forest Place. We loved how many people turned up for that wonderful series. So Strut Dance will again take over our public square with a major lineup of national and international choreographers sharing their skills with all who want to give it a go, in workshops, in performances, and of course in their very much loved Perth Moves battle. Also part of Perth Moves is a really major coup for the Australian dance scene and for our city. As part of Perth Moves, world-renowned French choreographer Boris Charmet is coming to Perth with his mass participatory work circles. So Boris invites about 150 dance enthusiasts. You don't have to be a professional dancer. You can be professional, you can be emerging, you can be wannabe, you might have an itchy foot. As long as you can commit to participating in the workshops, then you can then perform in public with Boris his extraordinary circular choreography in Forest Place over a series of nights. It's a really, really euphoric thing to watch, just a huge amount of people all moving together with this wonderful soundtrack. He's performed it in Avignon in France, in the Pompidou in Paris, the Tate Modern in London, and now he's doing it exclusively in the middle of our city. And just to finish, for something a little bit different, and thank you for your attention so far, almost done. A View from a Bridge is a work that will exist entirely in the digital realm. For me, considering this work was really important that the festival and platforms like the festival do recognise that real extraordinary work is being created and only experienced in the digital world. This work, though, for me, is a work that is ultimately about truth-telling. It's created by a young man called Joe Bloom. Joe lives in London. He is Gen Z, I think. And he, as a young person, recognises that in this world, the irony that we have so many ways of communicating now, but we just don't pick up the phone anymore. People are scared of picking up the phone and just calling each other directly. We'll send texts, we'll send audio messages, we'll send Snapchats, we'll send Slacks, we'll send emails, but we just won't call. And Joe has an old dial-up red telephone that belonged to his mum, and he takes it onto bridges in London and he places that phone there, and he encourages strangers to walk across the bridge and pick up the phone and talk to him. And so Joe is actually not near the phone. He's hundreds of metres away behind a camera. But there's something about when you're standing on a bridge and you're suspended in time and space and you're not speaking directly to someone right in front of you, that you speak your truth. So Joe has collected the most incredible stories, confessions, jokes, provocations, truths from people all over the City of London, and he's put them on Instagram and YouTube and TikTok. He's had millions of hits. He's got hundreds and thousands of followers of just people speaking their truth. And as they speak, Joe films them and he slowly zooms out from a close-up shot of their faces, zooms out over minutes and minutes, and by the end of the film, that individual is on that bridge right in the distance, dwarfed by the most incredible scene of the city that they live. So for me, I just love the idea of inviting Joe to come to Perth. So he will come here in January and he'll place that red telephone on some of our incredible bridges, and we will collect stories from people, everyday people who live their lives in Perth and cross those bridges. And that will be a wonderful collection of stories for us, but it's also an opportunity to share our stories and our truths and our incredible city back with the rest of the world. And I think that's what our festival should be doing. So thank you. That's it from me. Look, this is a program created by many of my colleagues. It's a program shaped by care and by conviction and by a real deep love of art. So in a world that feels increasingly fractured and fast, we do invite you to slow down and to come together with us and to hopefully be moved by these incredible artists of today, the tellers of truths and the makers of mischief. So big thanks to the festival team members who are here tonight, who give it their all and their hearts, their sweat and their tears and their passion and their love for what we do. A really big thanks to our Access and Inclusion Advisory Committee. Some of you have been with us for such a long time. Your guidance and your care and your passion and your lived experience guides us every day with what we consider and how we step forward in the festival. So big thanks to all of you. Thanks again to Grace. Thanks to all of you for coming tonight. I think I'm going to hand over to Fiona Smith. Thank you.
Podium, Fiona Smith's
and I'm not
website.
as tall as Anna, so I'm just going to shrink this down a little bit. So good evening, everyone. Thank you, Anna, for that amazing presentation. There's so many amazing shows in there. So my name's Fiona Smith. I'm the Event Operations and Logistics Manager for Perth Festival. To describe myself, I identify as female. I'm in my early 40s. I have long brown hair that's currently tied up also in a messy bun. I'm wearing glasses. I'm wearing a black top today, and I have very bright, bold pants on today that have flowers and strawberries on. I've been working at the festival on the Access Committee and working on our Access program since 2016. So it's been incredible to see how much this program's just grown and developed over all that time. All right, I'm going to keep referring to my notes because everyone that knows me knows I will get distracted and we'll keep talking, and we need to get to a film tonight. So I will just keep reading, hopefully, as we go through and not get too distracted. So our internal access and inclusion project team is made up of team members within our internal organisation. So from every department, we have someone on our committee. We've been hard at work developing our new DAPE, which will cover us from 2025 to 29. Thank you to everyone that filled in the surveys. We have spent many hours reviewing that feedback from our patrons, our staff, our artists, to shape the priorities for the coming years. The DAPE has been reworked into 2 parts. So we're now committing to something we do as business as usual. Every day we're always going to do that. And then we've got our stretch goals, the actions that are going to take us across the next 4 years. We're excited to share this final document with you once it's been approved. We've been ambitious. In fact, we were told to cut some things out, but we didn't because we just couldn't make that decision. It's all too important to us. So we're really excited to start delivering on all of those actions. I also wanted to touch on our Hidden Disabilities Sunflower program. So Perth Festival is a subscriber to the Sunflower program. Anyone with a non-visible disability or condition is encouraged to wear a sunflower as a discreet way to let our team know that you may need additional assistance or understanding. Just quickly as well, if you're looking for any information from the festival, we do have our program and a lot of things in alternative formats, so you can find those on our website. And we also have a really great little widget on the website. If you haven't looked at it, please just click. There's a little icon at the bottom left-hand corner that you can change the font size, the color. You can do all sorts of things with that amazing widget. So if you haven't played with it, do it. It can really help you navigate our website. But tonight, I'm going to take you through some of the key access highlights of our program. As many of you know, we do offer audio description with tactile tours, Auslan interpreting across selected performances. We're also trialling haptic vests again at East Perth Power Station. Yes, wish us luck, please. So looking at audio description first. So audio description is where audio describers provide a live verbal description of the actions, costumes, scenery, and other visual elements of the performance between gaps in the dialogue through a personal headset. So we have the lovely Brigida tonight doing that for us now. On shows that are in foreign language, like we just heard, a few of them are going to be in foreign language for this next festival, the describers will also read the surtitles as well as describing the action throughout. So it's really incredible to listen to, highly recommend it if you can. The tactile tours allow patrons who are blind or have low vision and their companions to enjoy sets, props, costumes before the performance. So a few years ago, we did Mary Stuart. We got to get a ruff that they wore because it was a period piece and got to feel that ruff, which was pretty amazing. So the following performance have audio descriptions, LACRIMA, POV, Scenes from a Climate Era, Haribo Kimchi, Perth Moves Concrete Echoes, Le Gâteau Chocolat, Lenore the Rain, and Meow Meow's The Red Shoes. As Anna said, LACRIMA is selling fast, so please book your tickets tonight with our ticketing team if you want to see that show, especially for the audio description. No, for audio description, we've still got some tickets on hold, so if thank you. Please keep an eye on our website though. We do release like some extra little seats when we can, so just keep an eye on that or chat to our ticketing team as well. Thank you. Kaylee, who's our ticketing box office team leader, who I'm just dobbing in right now. So our Auslan interpreted performances, the interpreter stands to one side of the stage, as Christy is doing for me right now, and live translates the text and dialogue into Auslan. So the following performances are going to be Auslan interpreted. So we have LACRIMA, POV, Rebel down at East Perth Power Station, Promises and Wild Beasts, Scenes from the Climate Era, Dragon Eye, What's Tina Got to Do with It, and Meow Meow's The Red Shoes. Our Summit Series at Lawson's Flats, which will be announced next week, there's also going to be 2 sessions in there that are Auslan interpreted, so keep an eye out for that one. East Perth Power Station. So we've reimagined the 2026, the chill out space. It's being relocated to a quieter area and redesigned with a range of comfortable seating options. It's providing a calm place to relax and step away from all the bustle of EPPS. So our haptic vests. A haptic vest is a wearable device that turns your sound into vibrations, allowing you to physically feel the music and the audio in real time. So it creates an immersive, multi-sensory experience by translating the beats, the rhythms, the bass lines into touch, making performances more accessible and enhancing the overall connection to the sound. So we're going to give those a go for Max Cooper. If you want to book, just chat to the box office team to book in that haptic vest. We've also looked at a few site improvements. We've got a new wheelchair charging station at Casa Musica, thanks to Mel from our Access Committee to tell us we need to make sure we've got that in place, which we do. Improved flooring and pathways for smoothest site access, and enhanced accessible viewing area for the main stage with direct access to the toilets and bar as well. So we're excited to bring all those new improvements. The advantage of doing a venue for 4 years is you get to keep adding improvements. Lottery West Films and Cine Wonders. So some of you are heading to the Somerville tonight, and the film tonight has open captions or descriptive captions. And we're also looking to work with distributors for a few more films to be added with descriptive captions or open captions. So Madeline's working very hard with the distributors. Unfortunately, it's not like Netflix where you can just press a button and they appear. Unfortunately, it's much more difficult on digital film. So keep an eye on our website. It'll be updated as soon as we've confirmed those extra sessions. And Cine Wonders, we're working with Sensorium for that Cine Wonders program. That means that at least 4 of the 9 screenings will have visual stories, themed props, and we'll actually have facilitators who are helping you interpret the screen content during those sessions. So that program is going to be announced on the 11th of December, so just keep an eye out for that one. You may have noticed these new symbols in our brochure and on our website. We've refreshed our highly visual content to simply be visual ratings. And we've also included oral ratings for the first time in all our program. So visual ratings, these evaluate the visibility and overall visual experience. They assess how visual elements like set design, costumes, and lights contribute to the storytelling. So for example, if it was 100% visual content, those events or exhibitions contain no music or dialogue. So just think visual arts program. The 75% events or films are likely to be fully surtitled or subtitled, and they have minimal dialogue, some background music or sounds, like think are films that are fully subtitled, so they're all in foreign language. 50% means that those events, films or exhibitions are partially subtitled, and they include dialogue, background music and sounds. So think maybe like our dance performances or performances and films that are in both English with subtitles as well. The oral ratings, these ratings evaluate the sound elements of a production and assess how the dialogue, music and sound effects contribute to the storytelling. So for example, that 100% oral content, the event is entirely sound-based with only no visual elements and can be fully experienced by blind or low vision audiences. 75% of the 75% are the events that are mainly sound-based. So these visuals are only incidental to the work. So for example, those beautiful performances in the Sanctum Series at St. Mary's Cathedral, they're one of those that are 75% where you're just sitting and listening to that stunning sound in that venue. 50% means the events contain both sound and visual componentry. But sight is not essential to be able to engage with the event. For example, performances that are at the Embassy or East Perth Power Station. Both these rating systems aim to help you make informed choices about your festival experience. So we hope they really help you. Alrighty, how to book. A quick reminder on access ticketing. Perth Festival is committed to ensuring that all access services are offered at the lowest price in the house. So even if your seats are located in a higher reserve, you'll only be charged for that lower reserve where applicable. Especially for Auslan and audio description where we designate where you go, then we'll make sure that always at the lowest prices. So you can book on phone, email, in person or online, which is all hopefully many ways you can book. Online, I'll give you a quick rundown, but you go to our website, log into your account. That is the pro tip here. Navigate to the performance, add it to your cart and click the button Book Accessible Services. The advantage of doing that, one, it'll take you to the seats that we've designated for those access tickets and it will give you that price. So that's a really good tip to please book into those services, and then it will also give you that cheaper price point as well. If you're unsure what those different seats are, there is a text box above the seat map that tells you. And then please also enter your access requirements before completing your purchase so we can then follow up with you if you've got any queries for us. If you need assistance at any point, please reach out. Our ticketing team is here tonight. They're ready to help you with bookings, talk you through the online process. Many of the other festival staff are also here tonight and we're happy to answer any of your questions. So this session is being recorded, thank you Jürgen, and it will be available on our website in the next fortnight, so you can rewatch it or share it with people that were unable to make it with us tonight. Before we wrap up, please join me in thanking tonight's presenters, Grace from our Access and Inclusion Advisory Committee, Anna, Reece, our Artistic Director, make sure there's a pause there, Christy, who's our lovely Auslan interpreter today, and Brigida, who's our audio describer here tonight as well. Thank you for all joining us tonight. We hope you're excited about this program as we are. Please come join us in the courtyard just behind me here for a drink and a chat, and we really hope to see you out in the 2026, out in the world at all our shows. Thank you.
And that's the end of the presentation.